stand up. It's a bit windy today, so it's a bit hard to set it up. And as I said, I really made my life difficult by not having it. But I'll show you how you might get around in a situation like this. So, and I'll show you how. Okay, so first thing, if you have sand, well, that's your ballast. So if you have either a stuff sack, something like that, or even your backpack, use that for a start on your corner into the wind. And I didn't do that because the wind changes I was setting up anyway. So this is one corner I just set up with the sand anchor, and I've done that on this other corner too, because I just happen to have two stuff sacks. Okay, now because this is a double tent, quite likely you'll have trekking poles. So I buried one trekking pole there. There's two ways of doing it. I can either bury down a dead man, so I would put this horizontally like that, bury down with a guy line around it, or in this case I just use that as basically as a gigantic peg or stake. Now you obviously might find some rocks or wood to do the same thing, but that just made my life difficult. So there you are. That's one bit of innovation, some huge peg. Now this particular point is not load bearing really, so the tent is held up there by this one. So what I've done here is, I'll show you. I buried, I'll take it down later, otherwise the tent will fall down, but there is a shoe inside there. So that's my anchor, is the shoe. And this is basically how you do your dead man anchor. You put something down, bury something down, even deeper if you need to, much deeper for the load bearing bits, but there it is. Now I did the same, I used the, again, part of the spare trekking poles, because I just happen to have 4 trekking poles here, being 2-person tent. So I've used one bit for this side. I've used the other one there for the other side. It is well buried and pressed down. And for this corner, this is actually the corner into the wind, and I could have set up this a lot better, but I just realized later on what was going on, so I couldn't be bothered doing it again. But just to show you what I've done there is I'm gonna let it down so the tent will collapse. Here we go. No, it doesn't. Anyway, this is my shovel, or spade. I've used that to dig the sand, and yes, of course it is a pot. You can't do that with the canes, the Heineken canes or something, but anyway I just happen to have one of those, so that's what I use. But obviously the idea was to have something so that the my stake, which happens to be over there now, wouldn't fly away. That's it. Back at home. Okay, so if you're at the beach, one thing is for sure is that you have sand, so that's what you use. Now ideally it would be, and most of the times in fact actually, you will find rocks, so you will bury some. If they're big enough, obviously you can just live on the surface, otherwise you just bury a rock like that as a dead man anchor. So the deeper the better, up to a point, couple of feet will do a good job. Or you'll have even a small log like that. It's enough again to just put a rope around it, and again bury deep. You could pile some smaller stones if you have anything that is trying to keep it down, and then obviously pile as much sand as you can. Now the typical way you would do it is, if you don't know if you can have anything, is you have the snow or sand pegs, something like that, or better these ones, but you're not likely to have those on a mixed hike. You would have this sort of stuff if you know that you will camp on sand. The other one which works on snow as well is this type of anchor. So you fill that with sand. Again, you bury it. You have the guy line coming out. But again, there are alternatives. So, for example, if you just think of it, when you look at that, it's really not all that different from a handkerchief. If you still carry that, put some sand in there, fill it up, tie it up your knots with a guy line, and again bury that as deep as you can. So try to improvise with whatever weight you can bury it inside the sand.